possibly don't know. I want to welcome, let's start off here, right? So, welcome friends, followers, fellow aficionados of the leadership extraordinaire. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dov Baron, fullmontyleadership.com. And in case you don't know, I'm an executive mentor to leaders like you. I write for Entrepreneur Magazine. I'm blessed to have been nominated and cited rather as one of Inc. Magazine's top 100 leadership speakers to hire. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at the Dov Baron. So at symbol THEDOVBARON. So you can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe on my YouTube channel. And you want to find out where that is, it's Dov Baron Full Monty Leadership on YouTube. And of course, I publish new content on YouTube, on my blog, videos and articles, etc. every Tuesday and Thursday, all right? So that's who I am, that's what I'm all about, that's the business. Now let's get into the subject that I wanted to talk to you about today, which is winning, losing, and what matters more. So, excuse me, sorry if I'm coughing through this one. Winning, losing, and what matters more. So, we're very fixated on winning, aren't we? And we're also very driven not to lose. But I want to ask you a question. I want you to think for a minute. Yes, I have been on Lisa's show several times. Thank you. So I want to start here by asking you this. Have you ever had an experience where you won? I mean, you know, those around you saw it, whatever it was, as a win. They were cheering for you, they were happy for you, that it was great. You know, you got the accolade, you got the reward, you got the whatever it was. So you supposedly had a win. But you felt kind of like you lost. You ever had one of those experiences where you felt like you lost but you won? What about the other way around? Have you ever had an experience where it looked like you lost, but you felt like you won? So tell me, won but felt like lost, lost felt like won. Tell me that. Put that into the column there. I want to see if you're relating to what I'm talking about here. So an experience where you felt like you lost, but you actually won, or it looked like you won rather, but you felt like you lost, or it looked like you lost, but you felt like you won, and it didn't. You know, it sort of seems contradictory to what it's supposed to be. Have you had those experiences? Even just give me the thumbs up, or give me the hearts, or give me something. Just let me know that you've had that. And you know, and I'm not just talking about, because sometimes it's a hindsight thing. Sometimes it's as you look back, you can see it's different, right? But I'm talking about even in the moment. So give me some thumbs up, or give me some hearts, or give me something to let me know if this is relating to you, if you understand what I mean. Because this is something that's happened to me many times, and it's something I've really sort of quandered over. When I was a kid, when I was 19, I took up boxing. Now some of you still think that I box regularly. I tell you, we were in Boston was it last year? Year before we were in Boston, and I'm crossing the street, and this guy says to me, he says, I'm in Boston, and I'm wrapped up in all my clothes, it's cold. And this guy says to me, you're a fighter, right? Jesus, man, do I look that rough? But it's interesting, because I did box. I boxed, but I was a terrible boxer. And I'll tell you why I was a terrible boxer. Because I could box, I knew how to box, and I could land a punch, and I could hit pretty damn hard. But when I hit somebody, I would immediately, as I would like, bam, land one on them, I would actually stop and say, "You okay?" Terrible move for a boxer. You okay? I didn't want to hurt the guy. This was like a terrible idea for boxing. punch the guy and then you apologize. So, needless to say, it didn't become a career. Although I boxed for quite a while and then did martial arts. But I never enjoyed the win. When I would win that point, when I would land that punch, when I would win that round or whatever it was that I was doing, it never felt like a win to me. It wasn't what I would call a win. The win was actually a loss for me. I felt like there was something wrong. And so, you know, people have said to me, well, is that because you've associated, it's going to get loud in a minute, the helicopter's coming in. Is that because you've associated hurting people as wrong? And of course, yes, I do associate hurting people as wrong. I don't like the idea of hurting people. But that's not what it is. What it is for me is something quite a bit different than that. What I mean by that is it's this. It's that what I associate winning to is much more powerful to me than those kinds of things had. You see, here's the thing. In the traditional sense of winning, in the traditional sense, you think about winning, you think about being in competition. And most of us who are successful have had to be competitive. We've had to do things to compete, right? So when you think about that, where it fell down for me, I am competitive. I fully give you that I'm competitive, and because that's part of how I strive for a higher level of success in my own life and to do more, be more, etc. But here's the thing about it that's interesting. There's a thing about winning there that I don't like, and it's the idea of which competition is based on, and it's this. I don't want to win if somebody else has to lose. That is not a win for me. This is what's fascinating and kind of baffling for a lot of people who don't understand how my psyche works. So, a win for me has to be a win for you, or I don't win. If I win over you, that actually kind of sucks for me. So I can go in, now don't get me wrong, I can go in from an egoic place and I can battle. I can battle in the ring, I can battle in, you know, in whatever the proverbial ring is. I can battle in that ring and I can probably do okay and I can probably win. I can dominate. But it's all from an egoic place. That's not a win for me. In fact, when I win in that context, I feel like there's this moment of, yeah, I won, but it's egoic, it's aggressive, it's heartless for me. I'm not saying it's true for anybody, but for me. But when I win, and I feel like we both won, that's a win for me. So what I'm asking you to look at here, what I'm challenging you to look at is, what is the cost of winning to you? What does that actually cost you? See, for me, I understand that if I win in the context of the traditional understanding of, in order to win, I must beat somebody else, that's not a win for me. It's actually a loss. And if I lose, but I made other people feel great and lifted them up and did great things, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not great because I lost. But if I can win and you can win and we can win, 3 ways, that's the winner for me. So here's why. Now, this is for me. I'm going to tell you mine, but you got to come up with yours. So here's the deal. What I'm telling you is this is not yours. I'm just giving you mine as the example, right? This is just mine as the example. So mine as the example is, this is the question I got to ask myself. What do I lose if I win by dominance? This is the question to ask yourself. What do I win? What do I lose if I win by dominance? What do I lose if I win by beating someone else out? And we even use language like that, don't we? Yeah, I dominated, man. I dominated. I crushed it. I dominated. Well, you know what? I'm not sure I like that. I don't want that in my life. That's not leadership for me. Not for me, at least. So ask yourself the question. Okay? Ask yourself that question. What do you lose if you win by dominance? So for me, this is just mine. It's not the right one for me. For me, what I lose is I lose connection. Now, is that real? I don't know. Maybe I don't lose connection. Maybe I do. But for me, it's real. I feel like I lose connection if I win by dominance. I don't want to win by dominance. Because the biggest win for me over anything else is a connection. My ability to relate and connect and have compassion for another is my greatest win. So that's what I'm going to challenge you to look at. What does it cost you to win over someone else? And is it worth it? For some of you it might be. That's okay. But for me it's not. So deciding what's more valuable. So there's the win, there's the lose, and what's more valuable for me is the connection. So if we both win and the connection deepens, that's a winner for me. So I want to hear your input. You can give me some of it. First of all, let's hear, was this good? Did you find value in this? Is it valuable to you? Give me the hearts, give me the thumbs up. I want to know, did this resonate with you as you're listening, watching? Thank you. Some of you are on there doing that. Come on, give me some more else. Let's see. Cool. All right, now I'm going to keep going with those. Keep giving me the hearts and the thumbs. It's good. Thank you. You can do it as many times as you like. They let you. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to look through here and see what some of you had to say. All right, so, lots of comments here. This is cool. Thank you. So, Lisa says, all right. Lisa says, okay, hindsight is 20/20. Only way to connect the dots. Yeah, you got to look back, of course, but that's not really what we're talking about here. It's deeper than that, as you can tell. And I see you wrote that a while ago, so you've probably gone on from that. Christy says, college graduation looks like a win, but I didn't feel like a win because I felt like I should have done it way earlier. Okay, so there was a judgment on yourself around that. Cool, all right, that's good. Good insight for you. Lisa says, in the moment, I anticipate the hindsight because it's always coming. That is very profound and insightful. Pete says, loss, but ended up with a win. Divorce. Won, but really lose. Lost. Okay. Brought a union into a shop, but regretted it because of the extra cost it ended up costing fellow employees. Not my nature. This is very cool. See, that's the key point there. Not my nature. This is the thing I was saying about what's more important. For me, my truth, my authenticity, my nature is to want to connect and build those connections between people, including myself. So if I have to give that away in order to win, then that's a loss. Lisa says, swam competitively. Goal was to go to the Olympics. Person I swam with and trained with went what was that? Reading is not good at this point in time. Perceivably a loss, but it was a win because I learned more self-discipline and that carried over into every meaningful aspect of my life. Brilliant. Kevin says, when my wife and I separated, I felt both as a paradox at the same time. Still do, to a certain extent. That's a really good insight. Again, very good. Okay. Ricardo says, the way I relate is what you're saying is I do, not enjoying the feeling better than someone else. It prevents me from my genuine needs, which is connection and equality. Good. Lisa says, it's an individual's mindset. Everyone can enter into a competition already believing they're a winner. Absolutely. Perception is reality. Absolutely. Thank you. Lisa says, if I win, it's because I was hungry enough, worked for it, and when I win, everyone wins. I get the piece of the pie because I share everything. All right, cool. So this is you see what I'm getting at here, folks? What I'm trying to have you look at is there's a win in the traditional sense, which is you have to beat the others. They're your competition. And if you competed in anything, you know, like I said, for me it was martial arts and boxing. For Lisa there it was swimming, but it could have been anything. You were probably trained to dominate the enemy. Right? You were trained to make the people you were competing with your enemy, and you were supposed to dominate, and that was sort of the parameters of winning. That was not, I got to tell you, that, you know, I know many of you are surprised about this, but that's never been a fit for me. It's never been the way I've looked at life. It's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. And so, how do I get to be a winner if I don't want to play that game? Because I don't want to play that game. And the answer is quite simple, is that for me, I have to decide what winning is. For me, I have to also decide what losing is. And that's what I want to put forward to you. You have to decide what a win is for you. You also have to decide what a lose is for you, because other people's perception of it, even the societal conditioning of it, even the having the right mindset around it, none of that's going to help if it's out of integrity with who you truly are. So what does it mean to win for you? Not what does it mean to have won. What do you have, like, take a look at what do you have to give up in order to win in the traditional sense, and which may end up making you feel like a loser, which it certainly did for me. And what do you gain by really staying true to what makes you feel like a winner, what really feels authentic to you, in order to have you feel like a true winner in your own life. Like I said, for me, if I won by dominating you, if I won by squashing you being the competition, then that doesn't feel like a win to me. That feels like a lose. Even though I might get the accolades, even though I might get the applause or the recognition, that's still a lose for me. A win for me is connection. And so you have to decide what it is for you. It might not be that. As I said, that's mine. You decide for you, because then it sets you up for being a winner all the time. Every single situation, it sets you up for being a win every single time. So Lisa says, we are in a game of life. Up to each of us to decide, regardless of time, stats, awards, accolades, if we enter, participate. Yeah, absolutely. The only competition, as Lisa says, is with yourself. No doubt about it. And upping your game every day. Yeah, but, again, defining that win. This is the point I'm trying to make. And I think this is what I'm maybe not communicating clear enough yet. You have to define the win. You have to define the win. You cannot allow the world to define the win. Some of the wealthiest people I've ever met have no money. They don't have no money, but they don't have abundance of funds. Some of the smartest people I know don't have a degree. Some of the most brilliant people in the world didn't get an education. Some of the best negotiators in the world never got trained in it. Some of the greatest leaders in the world will never be a CEO. So you've got to decide the context of winning. This is what I want you to grasp. What is your context for winning? How do you know? How do you absolutely know that you won despite what the scoreboard says? Because the scoreboard is simply the external perception. And what I'm challenging you to look at is what's the internal scoreboard say. Okay? So that's it. That's what I'm putting forward to you. That's what I'm challenging you to be curious about. I'm challenging you to become curious about what real winning looks like for you. So I want to thank you for joining me here. It's been really good having you on board for the show. And if you found value in this, please share it with others. Share the show with other people. Make sure that, share the wealth. Don't keep it all to yourself. If you thought it was valuable and interesting and powerful, share it with others. And please give me some thumbs up and some hearts so I know that it was valuable to you and you did get tons out of it, because that's always useful for me to know. All right. So remember to stop by the Matrix, matrix.fullmontyleadership.com, and get your authentic leadership matrix, $197 value. You get it for free just for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know, and good to see that you are sharing on here, that it was valuable to you and you got use out of it. I really look forward to you finding clarity with yourself and defining your own version of winning, because that's what gives you the fulfillment. If you allow the world to define winning for you, you may get a lot of success, you may get a lot of accolades, you may get a lot of trophies, but you won't get a lot of fulfillment. And I'd love for you to have a deeply fulfilling life. So this is the very scratchy voiced, still a little bit sicky, Dov Baron of fullmontyleadership.com, saying thank you for tuning in, thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know, and stay curious, my friends. Stay curious about how you can redesign your own version of winning. This is Dov Baron, and I am out.